Well, good afternoon and welcome to this MCTV sports production of high school soccer. Today's match features girls varsity competition from the Peninsula Athletic League Ocean Division between the Mills Vikings and Capuchino Mustangs. We are in Millbrae, California on this overcast January the 24th, 2013. Hello, everyone. I'm Kenny Melch alongside my broadcast partner, Andy Pittman. Andy, this is a huge game for both teams for a couple different reasons.
Absolutely, Ken. Well, the PLL divisional race here has changed quite a bit over the past few days, and we've got kind of a logjam up at the top right now. And these are two of the teams that are looking to make a move, hopefully to move into championship position. But aside from that, we're also talking about a natural rivalry here based on the location. It's always a good game when Mills and Capuchino get together, whatever the sport is, and these two teams are pretty evenly matched. I think we're in for a good game today.
This is the first meeting of two. They will get together one more time at the end of the season in a few weeks. Checking the standings a little more closely. Right now, Sequoia on top, undefeated at 6-0. And then you've got that four-way logjam for second place. Mills, Capuchino, Half Moon Bay, and South San Francisco all knotted up at 4-2. So huge today for one of these two to get the jump on second.
Absolutely, and I can already tell that both of these teams are fired up and ready to go. We see that they're out there having their last pregame notes from the coaches, getting them fired up and ready to go. You know, one thing I think that's going to be really great, I'm expecting today, Ken, we should see a lot of goals. Both of these teams can score, especially with Mills over the past 5 or 6 games. They have been on fire.
And they are led by their senior midfielder, Olivia Mullins, on the season. She scored 8 goals and has 5 assists. On the other side, Capuchino is led by their junior forward, Alan Benintendi, 14 goals, 9 assists. So those two are two that we can watch for today.
Absolutely, and Alan Benintendi was a all-league selection last year. I believe she was third team, and I would not be surprised to find Olivia Mullins on that list as well this year.
This past Tuesday, results from girls varsity soccer action. Half Moon Bay shut out Mills 1-0, and Capuchino shut out Westmore 5-0, and that's what created this logjam that sets up this great matchup today between these crosstown rivals.
You know, talking to Coach Carolyn Tiziani from Mills, that game that they just played, 1-0 loss, that was a tough one for them. They actually had 24 shots on goal that game. None went in. So I can tell right now they're a little fired up. They're frustrated. They want to get some goals going again. And I would not be surprised to see them coming out firing on all cylinders today.
Speaking of head coach Caroline Tiziani, she's now in her 5th year here as the varsity coach at Mills. She's also a PE teacher here on the campus of Mills High School. Current record 6-3-1 overall, and once again 4-2 in the PAL Ocean Division. She also coached some badminton and won the coached the boys doubles Bay champions in 2009, 2010, and 2012 among some other badminton championships. Her career soccer coaching record here at Mills, 36, 24, and 15. So she's building a nice program here at Mills.
She absolutely is. Every single year she's managed to put together a little bit of an improvement and has really turned Mills into one of the contenders for the title here. And you know, it's funny, we already ran into Coach Tiziani once for MCTV Sports this year. Actually, it was last year during our coverage of volleyball. She is also the coach of the Frosh Soft volleyball team here at Mills. A busy woman. That is for sure.
She's pregnant.
She is pregnant, and we'll see what happens today.
She's due on February the 12th, so just a couple weeks. I don't know, Andy, just in case things get really heated, I don't know if she goes into labor. You got any doctor background in you?
No, I was thinking more I might be able to step in on the coaching side of things. That would probably be a little more on my speed.
We are underway. Capuchino and Mills on the campus of Mills High School, and it is the Vikings in control in white, moving right to left across your television screen. Capuchino in green as the ball goes into the corner. Centered over into the middle and cleared out of there by a Capuchino defender, Amy Brenner. In goal for Mills is Kayleen Coe. For Capuchino, it's Ashika Varma. Other starters for Mills, the defenders, Lauren Paplos, Alex Wheeler, Ava Daniel, and Michelle Chin. The midfielders for the Vikings, Valerie Kwong, Olivia Mullins, Ciara Donlin, and Rachel Ling. The two forwards are Ty Haramis and Alex Clayson.
I got to tell you, Ken, I'm really looking forward to seeing a couple of these players out there. I know that they've got a lot of senior leadership this year on the Mills team, particularly in the form of the center defender, Lauren Paplos, right midfielder, Sarah Donlin, and then, of course, Olivia Mullins, number 17, right there in the middle. She'll be sort of the quarterback for the whole day.
Capuchino starters, defenders, Emily Estelita, Hannah Ingersoll, Madeline Steckley, Deandra Thomas. The midfielders, Janine Koenig, Amy Brenner, Sarah Coates, and Talia Hafter. And the forwards, Natalie Koenig and their top scorer, Alan Benintendi. There's Benintendi in the corner, and it's cleared out by the Vikings. Kept in there nicely by Hannah Ingersoll, and now both teams kind of feeling each other out. There goes Mullins up the middle. Their leading scorer, 8 goals on the season. She's fast. She also runs track, and in fact, she made it to the PAL finals last year at Terra Nova in a few different events as a junior. I'm sure we'll see her back there again this year.
She's really feeling that midfielder role quite well, Ken. She's got quite a number of assists to go along with a good goal scoring total, and that's exactly what you want out of your center midfielder, someone who can distribute the ball and ultimately make all the players around you better, and she seems to be doing that.
That was Donlin with the shot attempt, saved by Varma. It was on net, so our first shot attempt comes from the Vikings. We got to throw in. Our referee is Rick Quintana, his 10th year. Assistant ref number 1 on the team side opposite of us is Jorge Morales, 20 years of experience. And then on the spectator side, or on our side, AR number 2, Darren Shields. He has 15 years of experience. So we're talking about close to 45 years of soccer officiating experience out there.
You know, you got to have a pretty thick skin to be an official in a soccer match these days. Of course, everything you do is going to be scrutinized, and they have a good crew out here. You know, in some high school games, they might only have 2 referees. Today we have 3. We have our main referee, and then also we have our 2 linesmen. So though linesmen will be watching for the offsides calls, referee will mostly be focusing on any kind of infractions.
Capuchino head coach is Rich Medina. He's in his 4th year. The ball's loose in the middle, and it's cleared out by Capuchino. 4th year as the girls varsity head coach at Capuchino. His first year was 2010, and that was when his daughter was a junior on the team. Well, ball staying close to the mid. There's Mullins battling with Capuchino's Sarah Coates. And you're going to see a lot of Mullins all over the field in that number 17 jersey in white for the Vikings here. Mills, once again, overall 6-4-1, having a good year, 4-2 in the Ocean in that 4-way tie with Cap, Half Moon Bay, and South City. Capuchino, 6-3-2 overall, also having a fine season, and 4-2 also in the Ocean Division.
Kind of looks like both these teams are just feeling each other out a little bit right now, Ken. There's a lot of back and forth with the ball, but eventually I imagine they'll settle down, start making some crisp passes, and we'll start to see some runs down the sidelines, I'm guessing.
Nice takeaway there from Amy Brenner for Capuchino. That's Brenner with it right there in the middle. Another pass. Trying to chase that down was for Capuchino was Benintendi, and we had a whistle there.
Looked like a handball, perhaps, on Benintendi.
So we've got the kick coming from Lauren Paplos, senior defender. Nice low line drive.
Lauren told me that her favorite player in the British Premier League was Daniel Agger, and I can see why she admires him. Her style of play is pretty similar. He's a bit of a bulldog, not afraid to get his nose dirty a little bit, and she's been a solid mid back for the Vikings this year. the amount of goals they've given up has been really minimal. So their defense has come together quite well.
Here on MCTV Sports, we got a new feature. We got our clock up there. Tells you how much time we've got.
You got to have a clock for soccer.
That's right.
You got to have a clock.
Played so far here in the first half. There are 2 halves. Each half will be 40 minutes long. There will be an 8 to 10 minute halftime intermission. There will be no overtime or penalty kicks. If it's tied at the end of regulation, they'll just call it a tie. So far, Capuchino has 2 ties on the season, and Mills has just 1.
It's funny, last year, Ken, in the CCS championship for this division, Aragon High School actually ended up tying with Mitty for the championship, ended up co-champions last year at a 2-2 tie. So it's a little bit unusual. Normally you don't see that kind of thing, but in high school soccer you do. Another interesting feature on high school soccer is that you have unlimited substitutions. So in terms of strategy, it might be a little bit different than what you see. And looks like we got a good shot in there.
Was that Clayson?
That was Valerie Kwong with a shot there in the center. And she's one of the younger Vikings that's out there today.
Kwong plays the midfield. She's just a sophomore, Valerie is. Coach Tiziani has a pair of assistant coaches, Jasmine Caceres in her first year, also Rasha Shahade in her first year. The athletic director here at Mills is Tim Keller. Ball's loose on the right side. Donlin trying to get it, but it's cleared out over on the right side by Estelita. It'll be a throw-in for the Vikings. Donlin will throw it in. Got to keep both feet on the ground. And it's cleared out there. Battle over in the corner. Should be pretty physical today. There's a shot from deep.
It's a good idea, It's especially when things start to get a little stagnant. There's no problem with taking one of those long shots, maybe waking the goalkeeper up down there. You have to be a little careful, though. You don't want to be taking too many wild shots, of course. You want to make sure your team has a nice flow to the game.
The Cap goalie, Ashika Varma. She's played all the minutes in goal this season for Capuchino. Alyssa Colberto is the backup goalie, but she has not played yet this season. There's Mullen. Check that. That's Clayson. Nice job defending there by Estelita. She's been involved a lot here early on in the Capuchino defense.
You can see that Mills is really pushing the ball right now. They've got their back line is past the midfield line, and they're stacking the box with plenty of players. I think they're hoping for an early goal here.
We'll have our first corner. Watch out for Mullins. Also Haramis. Donlin's in there. Cleared out there nicely by Deandra Thomas. Send it back in. Mullins with another shot on goal, and that's a save by Varma. And that's what you want to do, even if you don't have a great shot. Get it on net, and crazy things happen. The ball, gets a little slick, takes a bad hop.
Absolutely. I mean, these fields are not exactly level, and you never know where that ball's going to go. And not only that, it's just good to kind of get in that mentality. That's exactly what the Vikings want to do right now. And as for Capuchino, they're kind of on their back heels. They've got a run going right now.
Centering pass to Haramis. And she's unable to catch up to a dangerous pass back to the middle. Haramis battling. Mullins tries to get a shot off. Miss hits it. And once again, it's cleared out by Thomas. Thomas is a junior. And it goes out of bounds. Nice action there. Talk about Varma, the goalie for Cap. Well, Coe is the primary goalie for Mills. Ball headed out into the center. She's been their starter. Becerra, Aristelsi Becerra Jr. has been the backup. She's gotten some playing time, trying to develop her a little bit for next year.
Nice move by Haramis.
Good patience there by Wheeler. And it goes out of bounds. We talked to Coach Tiziani about Coe, the goalie, and she said that her strengths are including that she's very calm, she's very composed, she's very positive, she's a hard worker. She's improved immensely over the season. She's very consistent. She communicates well with her defensive back players, and that's what you need from a goalie is good communication.
Absolutely, and that was one of the things that I picked up from talking to some of the Mills players, that they've really improved their communication this year, and I think as a result they're working better together as a team, and I think it shows on the field. You can tell that they have a connection as far as knowing where each other is going to be, and in particular, as far as defense goes, they've been stellar.
Led by Lauren Paplos, who's a returning senior, and she was a first-team All-Leaguer, as well as Mullins. Last year, making All-League, 11 goals, 12 assists for Mullins. And that's her right there, trying to get it loose. We got a handball right there, so a nice opportunity here, just outside the big box. And they're going to let Paplos take the boot. She's got a strong leg.
As any good center fullback should. Now let's see if she puts it on goal here.
Coach Tiziani getting her players aligned and set. Nice shot. It's high and it's off the upper post. Ball still loose in the middle, and it's cleared out. What a great shot by Paplos. I mean, we're talking about, what, 2-3 inches?
Absolutely. And, you know, you don't necessarily always expect that to come from your center fullback, but she has enough of a leg. She could put something decent up there in the box. I don't even think the opposing team, Capuchino, was prepared for that.
Right off the upper crossbar. A blast.
She's scored a few goals this year.
Paplos has 3 goals on the season. This is for league, by the way, those numbers. Shaking loose is Capuchino player Natalie Koenig, and Koenig makes a nice reverse field, sends it up the middle for Benintendi, but Coe is able to get there. Nice defense there by Ava Daniel, but that's one thing that Mills does not want to let happen is let Benintendi shake loose.
Absolutely, and especially when things have been so much on one side of the field, you really got to watch out for the counterattack.
Here comes the counter right there. It's Clayson on the right side with a center, and it's just off to the right of the net. But sometimes you'll see that happening. You get it going one way, and everyone's thinking that if you don't get back on defense, especially with this speedy Mills attack, you know, you could be looking at goal at the other end.
That's one of the big parts of playing defense is that you have to be aware of your situation. You have to know where your players are that you're marking. Don't get caught standing around, basically.
Nice free kick there by our goal kick by Deandra Thomas. That's Haramis battling. Little contact, no call. Mullins tries to get it to Clayson, and the ball squirts loose. Almost a shot, and Varma scoops it up. She gives the left-handed or left-footed boot, if you will. That's Wheeler for Mills. And once again, that was Koenig for Capuchino wearing number 1. There's Mullins. Nice save up the sideline there by Rachel Link. Out of bounds to Capuchino. Once again, we are in the first half here at Mills High School. Girls varsity soccer action. This is exciting. MCTV Sports continuing to expand their coverage.
I believe this is our first soccer game.
It is.
And we have another one next week as well.
On the boys' side.
That's right.
We're just talking with the coach, Craig Dilley of the Mills Vikings. He's fired up, ready to go. Brought us a roster. That ought to be exciting as well.
I think so. I think all the league action this year is looking pretty good for both teams, Mills Soccer.
There's Benintendi, and she's double teamed there. She goes down. Nicely done. Mullins sends it ahead to Haramis. Now it's a foot race between Haramis and Ingersoll, and neither can catch up to that ball, and it goes out of bounds. Got to have a little stamina. You know, we've played just 17 out of 40. You got 23 minutes left. But like you said, there's a nice center pass right there from Mullins, and a shot attempt by Donlin with the left foot. Well done. Quick strike there.
You know, if she just leaned back a little bit on that shot, the next one that comes to her, I'm pretty sure she's going to lean right over it, put that ball into the corner of the net.
Great centering pass there by Mullins. Thomas is going to do the honors of the goal kick.
You can definitely feel the Mills team confidence out there right now. It seems as though they're comfortable in their own skin. They've got speed to their advantage, and the passing has been good so far. Lots of shots going out there on goal.
Wheeler tries for Haramis, and they're going to call a foul on Capuchino's Ingersoll. And it'll be a free kick for the Vikings. Wheeler will take it for Mills. Once again in their white. Capuchino in their green. Crosstown rivals. A lot more on the line than that second place log jam. These girls know each other. They've been playing against each other all throughout their youth. And there's a beautiful boot. Oh, and it's trouble. There's a loose ball. Nice try by Haramis. Wheeler really sent it in there, and it was a little awkward because nobody was there. Varma tried to come and scoop it. She couldn't handle it, and it was almost a fluke little goal there. And Wheeler will have a chance right here on the throw-in.
And we have our first substitution. Looks like going out we had number 21, Alexandra Clayson, and coming in, we'll have to get that number for you in just a second. The ball's coming into the new player.
Mullins tried to get around the defender. Haramis out to Wheeler. Wheeler mishits it. Benintendi trying to track this one down, and it's nicely played out of bounds there by Ava Daniel.
You can see the speed of Benintendi. She is going to be a threat all day. The Mills Vikings defense really needs to account for that.
I believe your substitution was number 7, Jolene Hom. She's a senior forward. Going to try to put some action into the Vikings attack. On the throw-in is Capuchino. Nice header there to keep it in. Free ball, nice push in the back. Capuchino got away with it. Loose ball in front. And it's well cleared, and here comes Mullins. Try to center ball to Hom, and Thomas is going to scoop it up. Once again, Paplos did a nice job there defending on the back end. That's why she's a returning first-team all-leaguer. She gets it there with a nice hopping kick. Those are the dangerous ones that are high and hopping, heading towards the back line of the defense. A great centering pass to Mullins. A shot and a goal! Olivia Mullins from Ty Haramis. And the Vikings are on top 1-0.
And that's exactly how you want to do it right there. She got the ball. She was wide open. She made her run. Somebody found her right there in the middle. It was an easy shot for her at that point. For a prolific goal scorer like that, It's everyday business.
She stuck it right in the left side of the net. Varma had no chance. Let's take a look at the replay here on our MCTV Sports crew. That's Randy Sahai back in the truck as usual. We'll get a replay when we get a shot at it. Here it is. There's the pass from Haramis, and Mullins just sticks it right in the left corner of the net. Wonderfully played ball. Coach Tiziani's got to feel good about that, getting off to a start. Leading 1-0 with just about 19 minutes to go here in the first half.
And that's going to be a real confidence booster for the Vikings. And, to get out there and get a goal, especially after losing 1-0 in their last game and having so many shots not scoring, it's good for them to get off to a start with a goal here in the first section of this game. And right now it looks like it's pretty much all Vikings.
Along with Randy Sahai is our camera operators, Jasper Shu, Andy Chan, and Jessica Say, doing a fine job on our MCTV Sports crew. Got that boys soccer game next week, and then we've got a basketball doubleheader coming up in February, Mills and Burlingame, and both of them are doing fantastic atop the leaderboard in the PAL South Division. Burlingame at 5-0 and Mills at 4-1.
It's been a pretty good year for Mills Sports on the whole. Not too shabby. I got to make one correction too. We have, instead of Jessica Say on camera, we have Nathan Ling, and he's actually working camera for MCTV today for the first time. So doing a fine job too, I might add.
Welcome to the crew. Cleared out once again by Paplos. Boy, that was an exciting goal. Once again, these two teams, not just for bragging rights, there's that four-way knotted tie for second place in the Ocean Division of the PAL, of course, the Peninsula Athletic League. 4-2. Mills, Cap, Half Moon Bay, and South City, and Sequoia is on top at 6-0. In sixth place is Jefferson. They're tied with Westmore at 1-5, and then El Camino struggling at the bottom in eighth place at 0-6. Of course, the PAL is divided into two leagues for girls soccer. You have the Bay and the Ocean. This is from the Ocean. The Bay is the upper league, and in first place is Woodside of the Bay Division. They're 5-0. And they're followed by Carlmont. There's a nice lead ball, and Varma's going to be smart and come out and get that. She's way out there. And that's one of the trickiest things for a goalie. When do you come out? When do you stay in? And she read it right that time.
And that's usually an indicator right there that the back line has moved up just a bit too far. And now the goalie has to step up. It's a tough decision to make because obviously as soon as you commit to that, if you don't get to that ball, the results are typically disastrous.
The rest of the Bay Division soccer standings, again, this is from the Ocean, Mills, and Cap, but people like to know what's going on in the Bay and other parts of the PAL. Woodside 5-0, Carlmont 4-1-1 in second. Third place, there's a tie between Burlingame and MA, both at 4-2. At 1-3-2, there's a tie for fifth between San Mateo and Terra Nova, and Aragon is in seventh at 0-2-4. And Hillsdale is in eighth at 0-6. There's your PAL Bay Division standings, and we get back to action here. Coach Tiziani leading 1-0 her Mills Vikings with that goal from Mullins off the assist from Haramis. Coach Tiziani also was a coach for the Burlingame Soccer Club, 2009 to 2012, Class 1 and Class 3 competitive soccer, U9 through U12. Here's a corner kick, headed towards the middle, and it's Mullins, and she heads it in. Can you believe it, Andy?
Another amazing shot from Olivia Mullins. She's clearly a goal-scoring machine right now. And, she's got a little bit of height on there, some of the defenders there. So when that ball gets up in the air, you got to be looking for her.
I'm not sure if the corner kick, if that was Paplos or Haramis. There's the replay, and boy, she timed it beautifully. I believe it might have been Paplos.
She even looked like she maybe had a second or two to wait for that ball.
So it's 2-0 Vikings on top. We're going to give Paplos credit for the assist until we hear different off the corner kick, and it was a beautiful corner, right where you want it. Mullins is pretty tall, so she's got a little advantage, and there's Mullins again streaking forward, and she just gets her shot attempt out to the left. That time Varma had to come out, and they almost put two quick ones on the Cap defense.
The Vikings are feeling it right now, you can tell. They're very confident. They're out there communicating quite well, and they look comfortable.
There's a shot on goal, and it's good! And it's Donlin with the left foot. And the ball came loose, and that was what we were talking about. Get it on goal. That kind of took a hop, a little skid along, and Varma had trouble with it. It squirted in the net. Goal by Donlin, and the Vikings are now up 3-0.
We are really seeing a display of some shooting power here. We're seeing, again, confidence on the field and some great communication. Donlin just has a nose for the ball right there and goes in and goes and gets it. So, again, the Vikings here look like they may make a move to put this game away early.
Donlin's fourth goal of the PAL season. Mills in white, Capuchino in green. I'm Kenny Milch alongside Andy Pittman here on MCTV Sports. Girls varsity soccer. That's Ty Haramis. Defended by Capuchino's Alyssa Colberto. And Mills on top 3-0 for their head coach, Caroline Tiziani. Tiziani went to Bakersfield High School, played JVN varsity soccer. She was a left outside mid and a center back. She also was on the JV springboard diving team. Did you know that?
I did not.
Graduated in 1996, went to Bakersfield College and played soccer and left outside back in college, went to San Francisco State. Also played left outside back. Matter of fact, she was all conference in 1997 with San Francisco State. Center ball by Wheeler, and Varma's going to scoop it up. So we're not only talking about a fine coach who's off to a great start here with the Vikings in her fifth year, but she was quite a left outside back for San Francisco State, earning all conference.
Absolutely. And, you know, when you talk to Coach Tiziani, you can tell she's got a true love for the game. She takes a serious approach to it, but she also offers some mentorship to these girls, which is pretty fantastic. Teaching them the basics of the game. She mentioned to me that one of the things that in her experience playing soccer was she learned a lot in high school. A lot of players now, they start playing in club leagues way before high school. But for her, she said she learned most of what she knew in soccer and in the high school years, and she was hoping to provide the same thing for her team here now.
She's got them going today. She lives with her husband, Jerome, in San Francisco. And once again, as we noted earlier, she is pregnant with their first child due February 12th. That's just in a couple weeks.
That is. But I think she's not feeling nervous right now. She's feeling comfortable. It's 3-0. I think the baby can wait for a little while.
It's going to be a happy baby. Especially we get a victory here for the Vikings today. That's Thomas sending it in for Cap, and that's Haramis trying to clear it out. She does so nicely over to the left sideline.
And look at the run down the middle here.
Picked up by Jolene Hom. And they tried a little give and go action there with Rachel Ling, and it goes out of bounds, but it was a good idea.
When you get those kind of plays rolling and you just barely miss them, it doesn't usually put you off from trying it again. Especially running down that sideline, they've got some speed.
Coach Tiziani loves to ski and snowboard and go camping. She's been to the Grand Canyon, the Sierras. Big Sur. She loves to travel the world.
What doesn't Coach Tiziani do?
Man. You know, I asked her about this rivalry game. She says, quote, Capuchino always gives us an exciting game, and we don't give respect to our opponents until it is earned, and they've earned it. Mills will always put up a fight, especially since this is our rival school. We are looking forward to the game, end quote. So you could hear she takes this game seriously. Haramis and Mullins work well together. There's a shot on goal, but it's just hooked off to the left. Coach Tiziani, she likes this team. I asked her about it, and she said, quote, this year's team is motivated and a very talented group. They're extremely coachable and able to make quick game changes and not skip a beat. Coach Tiziani went on to say about her team, these girls are a positive group with an incredible work ethic. They are very good at fixing problems on the field as a team. Hard workers, fix problems on the teams. Sounds like a coach's dream.
She's had the benefit of being a coach now at Mills for more than 4 years, so she's gone through the whole cycle. She had a very young team for a couple years there, and now some of those players have come to full maturity, and you can see it on the field. There's an instinct that they have. Obviously, you can't teach players to go chase down the ball, and then also to be aware of where the other players are. That's just something that has to develop, and clearly out here on the field, that's what we're seeing.
Throw in by Donlin. Not quite sure what that call was. Was that a foul?
Looks like it might have been.
Okay, so this could be dangerous for Capuchino. It's going to be just right outside. And looks like it's going to be Wheeler.
And you can see the height advantage in front of the net there with Mullins and
Haramis.
Haramis, that's exactly right.
So Wheeler looks over to Coach Tiziani to try to get instructions on how they're going to approach this. And the first AR, Jorge Morales, is trying to figure out things as well. And it looks like everybody's set now. Here it is. Watch out for Mullins. Inside. There's the shot. And it just goes off to the left and out of bounds for a goal kick. Just finishing up with Coach Tiziani about this year's team, she went on to say, quote, I am so proud of these girls. They have always remained committed to playing the best soccer they can. Each and every player comes to 100% of training sessions, always gives their all. She said, quote, I couldn't ask for a better group of athletes. End quote. Off the goal kick, couple headers, 3 headers in a row. There's Paplos, always on the right spot, and a little bit of an injury there to Paplos. That would not be good for the Mills defense. She's hurting a little bit. You know, we talked a lot about Coach Tiziani. On the other side, Coach Rich Medina in his 4th year, 5-3-2. Check that now, 6-3-2 with that win over Westmore, 5-0, and Paplos is injured. They're going to call for the trainer.
This doesn't look good. It looked like maybe she rolled an ankle or something as she was falling down.
There was a little bit of contact just as she was trying to clear that ball out. Let's hope she's okay. A senior defenseman. Coach Medina, this is his first varsity head coaching experience, but he's been coaching club soccer for the last 15 years. He coached his son, who's now a junior at USC, and his daughter, who's now a sophomore at Seattle University since they were 5 years old. So soccer's in the Medina family.
He usually runs in the blood. It's one of those things that gets passed down.
Both his children that he coached played AY and CY. Those are two different youth soccer leagues, and they won 4 Division I tournament championships. 6 of the girls formed the nucleus of the championship team at Capuchino. They're still taking a look at Paplos, and not sure. They won't stop. It's 36 minutes. There's 4 minutes left. I don't think that they're going to stop it for whatever reason. If she's back or off the field and they start, they'll just play on.
While we have this break in the action, Ken, I just want to tell folks that are watching this that if you missed any part of this game that's playing now, we have other replay dates that are going to be happening on MCTV, Channel 27 in Millbrae, 99 on AT&T U-verse. And replays start Tuesday, January 29th at 12, Thursday, January 31st at 6 p.m., Saturday and Sunday, February 2nd and 3rd at 6 p.m., and unfortunately, it looks like Paplos is coming out for the game. That's a big loss for the Vikings.
She's the anchor of that Mills defense. She's done a fine job already this afternoon. In fact, remember, she had earlier in the game that free kick from deep that hit the crossbar, the goal. Just missed.
And it's going to be interesting to see what adjustments the Vikings make here, losing their center fullback. In many ways, the center fullback is responsible for making sure the rest of the players are in the proper position and helping them to communicate with each other. So this is going to be a big adjustment for the Vikings now.
Capuchino trying to capture that magic when they were the Ocean Division champions in 2011 in Coach Medina's second year. Then they moved to the Bay Division last year, and they finished last and came back to the Ocean for this season, where they've done well at 4-2. Here they trail 3-0 to Mills.
So how exactly do they determine who goes up and who goes down in these divisions, Ken?
A lot of it is based on returning strength in players, in numbers. It has to do with tradition and the program, frost-off results, and just how the coaches project their team. You know, it's kind of on an honesty basis. You know, if you know you're going to be pretty good, then you need to go in the Bay Division. There's a corner kick by Wheeler, sent through the middle, and trying to size it up was Haramis. She couldn't quite get a head on it, and it's cleared out for a goal kick.
I find it very interesting the way that the teams fluctuate between the different divisions, similar in many ways to how other soccer leagues are structured throughout the world, where you have relegation. If a team doesn't perform well and end up at the bottom of their division, they typically end up getting sent down to a lower division. Likewise, a team at the top of the lower divisions making their way up. So it's kind of an interesting way, constant interchange of teams. And so even though you might have a rivalry with another school, you may end up not actually playing them throughout the course of the year. It's an interesting philosophy there.
And that's one of the big debates that go on in the different high school leagues, not just here in the peninsula, but in the state and across the country. Do you go based on power, or do you stick with the geographic? And basketball, for example, tried the power structure, and this year they went back to the old north and south. And you bring back the quads, the rivalries of the cross towns, and get bigger crowds. And then the other thing with basketball is you get them all playing on the same day. Whereas before, you may have the boys at one school and the girls at another school. So there went the quads.
And it's a great treat for the fans, obviously, to get to see 2 games. It would be great to see maybe a switch like that in soccer as well. It would be great to go out there and see both the Mills boys and girls team play on the same day. That would be pretty cool.
And the other nice thing is the athletic departments make a little more money on those quads. But money's never an issue.
Yeah, I'm sure that doesn't come into it, Ken.
Correct. Battling for the ball over there is Haramis, and she's battling with Thomas. Now check that. Back in the corner was Colberto. That's Thomas with that left-footed boot. And coming back for Mills to clear it is Erica Wong. Now, one problem with the power structure, how they have in soccer, as Mills tries to make a little run here, and they have a little something going along the right side. Center ball to Haramis. Colberto's trying to break it up. Haramis battling. She goes down. And it's going to be Capuchino's ball. As the rain starts trickling down, we don't have a tarp over our set. Let's hope it doesn't start coming down too long. It rained a little bit yesterday, but today for the most part it's been dry.
That's right, and they'll continue to play in the rain here until it gets to be about to get into the action here.
Right,
here
nice
we go.
Catch there, Andy. The ball came right to you.
That's right. I like to pretend that I'm part of the game now.
That was a nice pass you made to Wheeler, who's now going to throw it in. Now, if they score here, I think you ought to get an assist.
I would gladly take that, Kenny. I played a little high school soccer myself, and I'll tell you right now, I don't think I had nearly the same level of success as any of these folks out here are having.
There's Haramis with a left-handed shot, or a left-footed shot, if you will, off to the left side. But we're talking about the power structure and some problems that can occur. For this year example, the winner of the Ocean Division will get an automatic qualifying spot to the CCS playoffs, or Central Coast Section playoffs. And right now that appears to be Sequoia. But then you take a team like Mills or even Capuchino, whoever wins this game, and maybe they go on a run, but they finish second, but they have a really nice record. They can apply for a CCS berth as the first half has come to a close. And I'll finish up that thought before we send it to our break. The problem is the Ocean Division, or the lower team or the lower bracket, doesn't always get the respect, and even though they apply and they have a good shiny record, they may not get in. And I talked to Coach Tiziani about this exact subject, and she said if they go on a nice run to end the season and if they don't win the championship, she will apply for an at-large berth in the CCS.
And I think that makes sense. They've had a good year, and they're showing to be a strong team, as we see here today with a 3-0 lead at halftime. Things are really pretty much going all Vikings right now.
And that is where we're at. Intermission. It is 3-0. Vikings on top of the Mustangs. So as we mentioned previously, this Mills team has found success this year with a good core group of veteran leaders. They have had time to get to know Coach Tiziani, develop a good team dynamic, and to improve the nuances of their personal games as well. Last week we got a chance to talk to the team captains and found them to be focused and excited about the season. But more than that, we found that they had some great personalities to share. Let's check it out.
I'm Olivia Mullins. I play center mid, and I'm a senior here at Mills.
I'm Lauren Paplos. I play center back, and I'm a senior captain. I've been captain since my junior year.
I'm Kira Donlin. I play midfield for Mills, and I'm a junior.
We're really good at passing, and we talk a lot. When we do something wrong, instead of becoming negative, we tell each other what we did wrong and just hope to improve it.
I'd say we're more like connected. We're helping each other out, and we're able to do that and like not be afraid to like hurt someone's feelings because it's on the field.
The best thing that's working for us is that we're talking a lot and that we're really executing what we need to do on the field. Everyone has experience. I think it's going to be a good year for us.
I like playing midfielder. I don't have to wait for the ball to come to me. I can be in every single play if I need to be.
I definitely love center back. Being able to see the entire field and like yell to people, man on, do this, do that. I feel like in control.
I like playing right midfield because you get a bit of defense and forward. The only bad thing is you have to be really in good condition to stay in that position.
I love playing for my coach. She like inspires me. She's like another mom. Like I don't know what I would do without her.
She understands the teenage girl high school drama, and we're able to go to her for anything that we need to.
She's not only a coach, she also likes to make sure that we're doing good in school, and that she makes sure that we have enough time to do our homework when we go home and we're not stressed. If she sees we're stressed, she comes and talks to us. I think as a coach, she's very good because she sees when we're struggling, and she doesn't shy away from that. She likes to confront it straight on, so I think that's why she's a good coach.
Coach Tiziani has shown a pattern of success as the head coach of the Lady Vikings. She's been with the team for the last 5 years, and every single year it seems as though the team gets stronger and moves up in the PAL standings. We got a chance to talk with the coach a little bit about what it is that motivates her as a coach, what her background in the game of soccer is, and how she is able to be a guide for her team both on the soccer field and off.
My name's Caroline Tiziani. I'm the head coach here at Mills High School, Varsity. I've been here 5 years, since 2009, full-time teacher as well. Started just like they did, around 10 years old, playing local AYSO. I played through high school, and high school was my predominant source of learning. I think that's why when I came in as a coach, I saw high school as a place where they really can learn. The year I graduated high school was the year the women's soccer team won the World Cup in 1996. So just seeing that girls can keep going after that is probably what drove me. It just seemed like the natural progression to finish high school and then go play college soccer. And after college soccer, because I was going into kinesiology, it was the natural progression to get into coaching. And soccer was the first that I had the opportunity to, and it just keeps carrying me and taking me places. So I don't fight it. And there's a reason I'm coaching, and there's a reason I'm still here and I'm still happy. And that's why I'm still in it. I want to make this program as close to what I experienced coaching at SF State, and morph it into something that works in high school. And I think it's been successful because the girls do feel a sense of accomplishment when they leave here. The core of this group are seniors. This is the first time it's happened in the 5 years I've been here, and I took on 7 of them their freshman year. And it was a rebuilding year, and it was a learning curve. I mean, we went down the curve before we came back up, and every year they've built on their skills, and their commitment has been incredible. And this is kind of just the end product. When things fall apart, they don't freak out, and they're a little bit more composed than they would have been in the past. Skill-wise, we've got great skill on the field. They can play 1- and 2-touch soccer. They can shoot on frame. The back line is really, really confident. So overall, it's a nice big picture. They know when mean coach comes out or strict coach that they're not working hard enough, and whatever I'm putting in front of them, I expect them to get in the end. At the end of the game, if I make a list of things we need to work on, sometimes it's stuff I've already seen before, sometimes something new that pops up that I want to nip in the butt in the next training session. I do try to find the balance and push them just enough so that they're uncomfortable, so that when they're successful, they get it and they appreciate their success.
We are back. Intermission is over. Here on MCTV Sports, I'm Kenny Milch alongside Andy Pittman. It is the Mills Vikings taking on the Capuchino Mustangs. Mills is on top 3-0 as we begin the second half here in this PAL Ocean Division matchup. It's a battle for second place. Mills and Cap in a 4-way tie at 4-2 with Half Moon Bay and South City. Big game for both teams. And Mills was dominant in that first half, building up a 3-0 lead, Andy. We'll
see what kind of adjustments Capuchino makes here, especially with Lauren Paplos, center defender for Mills, out now with an injury. If they expect to compete in today's game, then they're really going to have to push forward a lot more, take some chances. And
there's a shot and a goal. A beautiful shot there by Sarah Coates. A left-footed boot in the upper left-hand corner. There was some contact there. She stayed with it and just rammed it in.
And that's exactly what Capuchino has to do. They're going to have to take chances, as I was saying, and put a lot of shots on goal, maybe move their players forward.
Here's a replay as we try to pick it up there in the middle. There's that shot right there.
It's great placement on that shot.
Sarah Coates. And it's now 3-1. Capuchino with that goal so quickly here in the second half. They're right back in it, but Vikings on the attack. That's Mullins, tries to hurdle over the defender, but Thomas for Capuchino is able to knock it out of bounds. And now we'll have a throw in for Mullins and the Vikings, and she gets it into the center. There's Haramis with the left foot over to the corner, and it's a nice diving save there by a Shika Varma, the Capuchino goalie, and she sends out a left-footed boot out to midfield. Wheeler's out there battling for it. She is messing with Natalie Koenig for Cap, number 1. So the first 20 minutes of this game was a lot of action in the middle, not a lot of goal scoring, and ever since then we've had 4 goals, 3 by the Vikings and 1 there quickly within probably about 40 seconds by the Mustangs. 3-1.
We'll see if that's going to be the pace that we have for the rest of this game here. Obviously, with the Vikings ahead with 2 goals, there might be a tendency to lay back a little bit, but especially since Capuchino is going to come out firing, I don't think the Vikings can afford to necessarily do that. Particularly with Paplos out now, they want to put a couple more up on the board.
And we should have. No, it never went out of bounds. So Varma is just going to clear it, and the rain is starting to come down a little bit harder. It's not quite coming down too hard, but you can definitely feel the drops coming down here on this Mills lower field.
Perfect soccer weather, Kenny.
Hopefully our electronics will hold up. Not the greatest TV weather unless you're in a press box, which we are not. We're at field level, which is actually a nice view. You can tell the field is definitely slanted downhill. So now Capuchino is kind of moving in the downhill range, whereas Mills did that in the first half, and that could be somewhat of an advantage.
Yeah, the ball, especially with the water on the field, the ball rolling, it gets a little skip going out there, and you never know, you might see somebody make a run heading out there.
Major contact there. Mullins got into it and got Estelita. If we have a chance to look at the replay on that, I'd love to take a look at that. There was some serious that's crosstown rival soccer right there, Andy.
Absolutely, and I wouldn't be surprised if the card didn't come out for that. You know, it's always questionable on these calls, and looks like Mullins is going to get a reprieve here.
There it is. Great shot by our camera crew and our director getting that up there. There was some serious contact by Mullins on that one. And she did not get a card on that, but got a little talking to by the referee, Rick Quintana.
It's always a question of whether or not they get to the ball first or if they get to the player first. And apparently the referee did not feel that that was a malicious attack right there, and decided to let her off with a warning. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if we see another challenge like that if the card does come out for Mullins.
Benintendi tried the blast there and was off to the left. So the goal kick sends out to midfield. There goes Mullins, sends it ahead for Haramis, and Varma's going to get to this ball before Ty, and she will blast it back the other way. Moving right to left in green is Capuchino. Mills in white. And coming right at you off of Estelita's.
It's been a much different start here to the second half, Kenny. You can feel that Capuchino's got a little bit of their confidence going now.
Donlin sends it on goal, and it tried to be tipped in by Haramis, but it was nicely defended there by Madeline Steckley. Sorry about that, Andy.
That's okay. I was just thinking as soon as I started to talk about Capuchino feeling more confident, lo and behold, we had a shot on goal almost from Mills there. So you never know what's going to happen.
So we got a corner kick for the Vikings, and Wheeler's going to take it. And we saw last time there was a corner kick, by Paplos, and Mullins scored on a header. It's sent into the middle, and there's a nice clear there, but not quite all the way. Wheeler back, sends it in. Clayson tries to kick it, and there's Donlin, and it's saved by Varma. Great action in there as Mills is dangerous on those corners, and Cap's defense needs to make some type of adjustment to get that ball cleared much quicker.
Absolutely, and that was great soccer instinct from Donlin right there to basically settle the ball as it comes to her and put a shot on goal without really even turning around and taking a look first. Just having that awareness of where the goal is, that's a sign of a good player right there.
Working hard out there is Natalie Koenig. And it's sent up and through. And Estelita sends it over. That's Ortega. On the attack goes Wheeler. Oh, upper forearm there to the neck. Wow, that was Rachel Ling over there for Mills. And it's a throw in for Donlin. 3-1 is the score. And it'll be off to Capuchino. Call made by the assistant ref too, the AR, Darren Shields. On the spectator side, once again, on the team side is Jorge Morales. Mullins battles Thomas.
Again, you can see Olivia Mullins with the kind of aggression that's helped her score a lot of goals this year. She is not afraid to get in there.
Great throw in. Here's a shot attempt by Clayson, and we've got something going on in the middle here. We've got a player down. The whistle blew.
This is going to be a penalty shot, I believe, here, Ken. We had a shot right in the back. Looked like a push in the back.
Is that Mullins down? No, that Mullins is not.
I think that might be Donlin down right now.
That might be Donlin. Maybe we got a replay on that. Okay, no, she's already down there. Maybe we can catch it here. Here's the throw in. Oh, yeah, she got rammed in the back as she went for the header. So a great call there by the referee, Rick Quintana. Another nice job by the crew getting that replay up. And so we're going to have a penalty kick here with the Vikings leading 3-1. They can increase their lead. And let's see who's going to take this shot. I believe that is going to be Erica Wong, the senior defenseman.
Interesting choice here for the penalty kick. Typically you don't send a defender to take a penalty shot, but perhaps Wong's got a great shot.
Here it comes against Varma, and it hits the left post on the rebound. Haramis almost caught it. So it was a nice try. She went for that left corner, and it hit the front post, deflected off. Haramis with the rebound attempt. No good, so Capuchino's able to stave off the penalty kick, and the score remains 3-1, Vikings on top.
Again, we'll see how the Vikings react. That can be a little bit demoralizing when you have a shot. And
ball coming our way.
Once
here.
again, we're
ball
part of the
under
action here. That can be pretty demoralizing for a team when you miss a penalty shot.
One thing I've noticed here in the second half is this game has gotten a lot more physical. And
absolutely.
We've got a lot of time left. We've got over a half hour left, about 31 minutes to be exact. So,
and maybe that was something that Coach Rich Medina stressed in the halftime talk there, that maybe it's time to step it up, put a little more body-to-body contact on there, be more assertive on the field, and hopefully get back some of that confidence that was taken away for that 3-goal lead that Mills built.
Our goalie, Kayleen Coe, has an older sister for Mills. In the class of 2009, she went on to play Division II Academy of Art University. As Haramis battles for it, and here's Donlin over the right side, tries to center it, it goes out of bounds. Another player, Hannah Johnson for Mills in 2009, or the class of 2009. along with Deandra Lozada Esquivel, they went on to play at Skyline College. So some former players from Mills that gone on to college. That was from 2009. From the class of 2011, a couple other players played at Skyline. Jasmine Caceres, Rasha Shahade, and Dana Alize. And now both Jasmine and Rasha are assistant coaches this season. So after they're done with their playing career, it's always nice to go back to your alma mater and help out with coaching.
Absolutely. It's a great way to give back.
Attempt by Haramis on the header off the center from Mullins goes over the goal.
You know, Ken, I'm wondering if Donlin might be struggling a little bit with that shot she took earlier. She keeps on holding her back. That would be a tough blow for the Vikings also if she was not at 100% for the rest of this game, having already lost Paplos.
Last year, Samantha Marr, who was a varsity player for Mills, she's going on to play at UC Merced. Here comes Clayson along the right end line, and it's cleared out. And ball's coming back towards us again. And it just stops right next to us.
You need to get up there and kick it, Kenny.
I know, I got to start getting up. You know, Mullins has played all 4 years on varsity. As a freshman, she scored 10 goals, 13 assists. As a sophomore, 6 goals, 17 assists. Last year, 11 goals, 12 assists. This year, 8 goals, 5 assists. Although today, she's got 2. Let's make it 10 goals. She's in double figures now for the 3rd time in her 4 years. She's going to go down as one of the top players in Mills Vikings girls soccer history.
Absolutely. And, you know, as a coach, it's great when you have a player that can get out there and score goals. But as I mentioned before, having somebody that can get out there and distribute the ball, make all the players around them better is actually even more valuable, because they may suffer for their goal totals, but overall the team is probably going to find more success.
Benintendi battling and wins that battle, tries to center it, but there's another Vikings player down, is Donlin again. And Benintendi just hasn't been able to get much going today. Mills has really put the clamps on her, the leading scorer for Capuchino. No, Donlin ran into her own player.
It looks like she still might be struggling a little bit with that back injury, as I mentioned. Oh, it looks like there was a yellow card. I wonder if that was a yellow card for dissent possibly right there. The rules are slightly different for yellow cards in high school than you would find in.
Yeah, Benintendi is trotting off the field. So if that yellow card was issued to her and she subs out, so we saw on that replay, it didn't look like Benintendi really did anything. It was Donlin tried to hop over, and she ran into her own player.
Yeah, it didn't look like Benintendi had anything to do with that fall right there. It would be a tough call if that was, in fact, why she got sent off. Despite having a yellow card, you can still be subbed back in high school. And so we may see her back on the field in a little while. Maybe the coach decided to pull her off to let her cool down a little bit.
Clayson sends it into Mullins, and she centers it, and there's more contact.
That was a close call, Kenny. That could have been another penalty shot right there for the Vikings.
Haramis was trying to catch that Mullins pass, and there was contact with Steckley, and here we go the other way. Coe, the goalie for Mills, comes out and clears it. Handball goes to Mills. There was more contact down there. Andy, this one is getting physical. We still got ton of 25 minutes plus, and now Quintana, the referee, is having a little talking to with Sarah Coates, who scored the only goal for Capuchino.
Yeah, and he's probably just trying to calm things down a little bit. You know, emotions get heated, especially as the time starts ticking off the clock. This game is not out of hand at all. It's being at 3-1 right now. The Mustangs still absolutely have a chance to come back in this game, but they've got to get their emotions under check right now, and the Vikings need to kind of take a deep breath and get themselves set.
There's Donlin with a centering pass over, and just cleared. Nobody home. I still haven't heard a whistle, but the ball definitely crossed the end line, and now we'll have a goal kick. You know, these two teams are going to have to play each other once again on February 14th That's at Capuchino. So these two will become even more familiar with each other than they already are, having grown up just blocks away.
And it looks like Benintendi is back into the game. She's been subbed in, and going out was Katie Pilster, number 14. Excuse me, I take that back. Marissa Ortega subbing out.
Mills next Tuesday plays first place Sequoia in Redwood City, and then next Thursday they're at Jefferson. Then they got South City, El Camino, Half Moon Bay, and once again they end the season against Capuchino on February 14th, and ironically February 12th is the due date of Coach Tiziani's baby. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. More contact in the middle area. That time Haramis went down. We got a whistle, and what do we got? This time they're talking with Koenig. Natalie, that is. There's also Janine Koenig, and we got a yellow card, and it goes to Natalie Koenig, and she trots off. So the referee, Rick Quintana, feels that most of this physical aggression is going towards the Capuchino side.
And that's to be expected at the moment. Obviously, they're the ones that are trying to get back into the game here. Obviously, emotions are running high, and we're seeing some more dangerous play on the field.
Bouncing ball goes off of Varma's hands, but she's able to pounce on it. That's that wet turf you were talking about. The drizzle is still just slightly coming down. It's lessened a bit, but the field is definitely slick out there. There's Benintendi trying to get something going. Little give and go action. And the give and go is with Hafter, and the Mills defense is there to stifle that offensive attack. Mullins going to try to track this one down. Varma misses it. Oh, dangerous play. Here comes Clayson. She tries a slide tackle, but it's cleared out of bounds by Colberto. It's always dangerous when you try to pass it back to the goalie because she can't pick it up with her hands, and with the bouncing ball and the slick turf, it's going to be tough to get a foot on it.
Absolutely. If you send that ball back towards your goalkeeper, you want to make sure that that goalkeeper is ready and aware. And right there, it looked as though that was a little bit of a surprise, perhaps.
And you don't necessarily want to put it on net, maybe off to the side.
Absolutely not. And then once the goalie it has a player closing down on them, there are a few options for them in terms of clearing the ball out. They can't kick it straight. So dangerous play there by the Mustangs.
Here's a corner, and it's going to be Wheeler again. A lot of action going on from the Mills. There's a nice ball, and it's Mullins again with a header. Olivia Mullins, she's got a hat trick. Vikings lead 4-1. Let's take a look at the replay. Andy, what'd you see here?
Well, again, Mills is coming through on their set plays, just putting the ball up in the air and letting Mullins move in on it. There really isn't anybody on that Capuchino defense that can match up with her in terms of her size. Clearly, she has an understanding of her position in a way that she's able to get in there and attack the ball, and not a difficult shot for her at all.
Difficult to defend, especially when Haramis comes flying in early and in front of the ball. You think she's going to get it, and she kind of purposely dekes the defense, and then it goes over her head, and then Mullins comes and finishes the job.
You know, it's another one of those advantages being the team with the lead has for you there, that you can stack the box with players. You don't necessarily have to worry as much about the counterattack with a 2 or 3 goal lead, and because of that, it's much more difficult to defend. And as you saw right there, Mullins, she just stands a little bit above the rest of the players out there at the moment.
Mullins' high-scoring game this season came against El Camino on January the 16th. She had 4 goals in that game. Beezer had 2 goals. Clayson had a goal and 2 assists. Wheeler had an assist. Daniel had 2 assists. Zhao had an assist, and Ling had an assist. So in that game, El Camino lost to Mills 8-0. And Mullins had half the goals.
if you look at some of the individual stats for the Vikings, they're starting to stack up pretty well, and it's also leading to a pretty large goals for and goals against differential there. The Vikings have really become quite a scoring power, and to top it off, they've also got a really solid defense.
That ball skips through about 4 different players, and the Vikings defense, which has just been in the right spot all day, is able to keep that here. You know, Cap hasn't had a lot of time on the other end other than that goal.
And we talked about it a little bit earlier, Ken, that the Vikings play a little bit of a modified 4-4-2 formation where they've actually got a defender, or rather a halfback that pulls back and a defender that moves forward. Typically, you would see actually a defender hanging back. Now, recently I've been watching, and we have a defender hanging back that's been sort of providing some safety there, which I think is probably a good tactic for a team that has a lead, especially a 3-goal lead at this point. You can still put players forward, but you just want to make sure you have that safety net back there.
Here's Mullins with a lead pass to Haramis. Watch for Clayson. Here comes Mullins down the middle, and a shot is just over the upper crossbar. And, you know, you mentioned about that Mills defense and the alignment that Coach Tiziani has set up, and we'll give credit to their defenders. Paplos, who is now out of the game. She's over in the bleachers with some ice on, we believe, her ankle. Also, Wheeler, Daniel, Chin, and now subbing in is Wong. And they have done a fine job, as well as the midfielders, Kwong, Mullins, Donlin, and Ling. They've just kept the ball on the Viking side most of this game.
You know, Coach Tiziani has shown that she also likes to rotate her players quite a bit to get all of them experience. That's a good tactic if you want to build a deep team, one that has game experience. Obviously, we discussed the situation with the goalkeepers earlier, and that's difficult if you have a goalkeeper that doesn't get to play. But with your field players, you definitely want to get them on the field. Even if it's garbage time, that's fine. You just want to get them out there, get them comfortable, so when you do have to put them in, for example, in the instance of an injury, then they're ready to go.
Shot attempt there by Benintendi with her left foot, went off to the left. You know, we mentioned about the Upper Bay Division and the Lower Ocean Division, Mills being in the Ocean, tied for second. They did play San Mateo earlier this season. San Mateo is 1-3-2 in the Bay Division, and that was the first game of the season, and Mills lost that game 2-1. Haramis trying to chase it down. Varma elects to stay back. Haramis with a line drive, and Varma with a diving save. So it shows the difference. You know, you've got one of the upper teams in the Ocean in Mills and one of the lower teams in the Bay in San Mateo, and San Mateo did come up victorious.
And again, it may have something to do with the level of competition that they're facing regularly throughout their league season. Obviously, you play against the better teams. You know what to expect from those better teams. But right now, you know, the Vikings are showing that they could potentially play with anybody in the league. Although I guess we'll see coming up against Sequoia. That's going to be a big challenge for them.
Once again, that's next Tuesday at Redwood City. Game number 2 of the season for Mills was against Pinewood in the Burlingame tournament, and they won that game 1-0 over Pinewood from Los Altos Hills. Mullins scored the goal in that game, and then December the 12th, they were at Woodside Priory and lost 7-0. Came back and played Harker. The Burlingame tournament won 3-0 with a shutout. Mullins had 2 goals. Haramis had a goal. Then they played Christopher, and it was a tie, 1-1. Mullins scored the goal for Mills. As we continue our season summary here for the Vikings. Then they started the league opener against Sequoia, and that was a 3-0 loss on January the 8th. Then they went and played Jefferson and beat the Indians 7-2. Paplos had a hat trick in that game. She had 3, Mullins had 2, Donlin had 2. Ling had an assist. Mullins had 3 assists in that game, and Donlin also had an assist. 7-2 win over Jefferson. That was January 10th as a shot on goal. It's cleared out. Here's a rebound, and nicely done on the defense, getting in front of that wild shot was Hannah Ingersoll. A lot of action in there, Andy.
Absolutely. It looks like Sarah Donlan's feeling a little bit better. She was able to get a good foot on that ball and put it in towards the goalie. Not a terrific place shot in terms of making it past the goalkeeper, but good velocity on it. And now the Vikings are in another situation where they get to put the ball in the air off the set plays. They've been very successful so far today on that.
Wheeler sent it in. Benintendi with the clear. And also helping to clear that ball was Katie Pilster. Mills still keeping it in their end. Donlan and Haramis playing back and forth, trying to send it in. Clayson just missed it, and here comes Varma to control things and try to settle this Capuchino defense down. Here comes the Vikings again. There's Coates. Back in the game is Natalie Koenig. And she boots it with the left foot. Here comes Benintendi. Also Pilster, number 2. Back to defend for the Vikings is Ava Daniel.
And she was a replacement for Lauren Paplos, I believe. And she's doing a fine job there.
Keep it up, Sarah. Keep the pressure on. Huh?
Looks like the Vikings have stabilized a little bit. And with time running down on the clock, just about 13 minutes left, unless there's a big change in momentum here.
Contact from Mullins to Estelita, and the official is now talking with Mullins. He's reaching for the card, and it's a yellow card on Mullins. So she'll have to exit the game temporarily with her 3 goals. 2 off corner kicks, 2 headers.
I'm pretty sure the Mustangs are not sad to see her go for a little while, even if it is just until the next stoppage of play. A little break from Mullins might not be necessarily a bad thing for them.
That Jefferson game on January 10th was the start of something good for Mills. It started their 4-game win streak as Thomas sends it in the middle, and it's headed out by Wong. Benintendi tries to track it down, and she sends it ahead. Here comes Pilster with the left foot, and it goes out of bounds. So they won that game over Jefferson 7-2 after losing their league opener to Sequoia. Then they beat South City 3-1. They beat El Camino 8-0, and then they beat Westmore 4-0. And then it was the Half Moon Bay game on Tuesday. They lost 1-0 to end that 4-game winning streak, and that's where they stand at 4-2 in that 4-way tie as Mullins comes back onto the field.
Coach Tiziani's got to feel pretty satisfied with the effort today that's been put forward by the Mills Lady Vikings. It's a nice rebound from that tough loss they had, and it's a great way to take them into the last part of the PAL season.
Capuchino's opener was against San Mateo as well, and San Mateo Bearcats won that game 5-1 as Thomas clears it out of bounds or towards the sideline, and it was indeed out of bounds. Although that was a scrimmage against San Mateo. Their opener was actually against Terra Nova, and the Tigers won 3-0 over Capuchino December the 1st. Second game was against Mercy Burlingame, and that was a tie, 2-2. Then Capuchino played Christopher, won 2-0. Then they tied Pinewood 1-1, and they beat Harker 1-0 on a forfeit. Interesting. They opened league with an 8-1 win over Jefferson. Then they beat El Camino 7-1. This is Capuchino once again we're talking about, as Thomas tries to get it out of their own end. Action kind of slowing down a little bit here on the field. Players maybe getting a little winded. Then Half Moon Bay, Capuchino won 3-1. So they started out their league 3-0 to the Mustangs. Here's Wong tracking down that ball in the middle. She's got some green, but she puts it too far ahead. And Thomas, who's had a good game for Capuchino, clears it out. And so does Pilster. Daniel sends it back in. So they started out 3-0, and then they lost 2 in a row. They lost to Sequoia and South City. Sequoia beat them 6-1, and South City shut them out 1-0. And then, of course, on Tuesday they shut out Westmore 5-0. So there they stand at 4-2. Mills looking to go to 5-2, and depending on what else happens in the league, they'll definitely be guaranteed at least a 2-way tie for second place in the Ocean, trying to find a way to get back. If they could beat Sequoia and give them a loss, they could find themselves back in the title hunt here, Andy.
They're going to need a little help, though, since Sequoia doesn't have any losses yet in league. So even if the Vikings beat them, there's still going to be a game back, and it's going to be a tough road for them to catch up to Sequoia.
Just about 9 minutes remain in this one. Mills on top, 4-1. 3 goals by Mullins, 1 by Dolan. Paplos with an assist, Haramis with an assist, and Wheeler with an assist. Little break in the action here as referee Rick Quintana tries to settle things. Once again alongside Andy Pittman here on MCTV Sports. I'm Kenny Milch bringing you girls varsity soccer action from the PAL Ocean Division. Next week we got the boys.
We got the boys. We're going to see them out here, and we got a chance to preview one of their games against San Mateo a little bit earlier. Perhaps, actually, I take that back. I believe it was Half Moon Bay. We were out here just looking at, trying to take a look and see how the team was. They had a good game. We weren't able to stay the whole time, but we were able to see some goals. And they've been fairly competitive this year in another tough division. So should be a great game.
Save there by Varma. Benintendi and Daniel battling, and Donlin clears it out. Trying to track that ball down is Jolene Hom. Still chasing after it.
Benintendi's been impressive today. She has a real knack for getting to the ball. She's got speed. She's got a powerful shot. Still time to develop her game as well, so we should be hearing more from her.
We mentioned Mills players that went on to play college, and we can't go without mentioning the famous star for Capuchino, and that, of course, is Stephanie Vaccarano, for a forward from the championship team from 2011 for Cap, now plays for Chico State, and she was quite a legend. Also, Melanie Medina plays for the club soccer team at Seattle University. So a couple players from Capuchino moving on to play college ball or club ball in their future. Haramis battling there. Steckley for Cap. They're still going at it. Boy, Haramis took about 3 hits on that run.
Yeah, that was a case of the referee calling advantage there, since Haramis continued to have possession of the ball. It looked like the first contact may have actually been a foul. You can see the referee's hand go up, sort of like a delayed penalty like you would find in hockey or something like that. And if the team that has the penalty against them gets the ball, again, then typically the referee will then call that penalty. We may see another card here.
And it is. And this yellow card goes to Janine Koenig. So both the sisters, Janine is a senior, number 8. Natalie is a sophomore, number 1. And that's the 4th yellow we've had so far. 3 of them went to Cap, 1 to Mills. Benintendi had 1 for Cap, and both the Koenigs and the 1 for Mills went to Mullins. That's Wheeler and the direct kick. Bouncer, and that's the dangerous one. You can try to short hop the goalie on that. And never know where that ball's going to bounce. Nice save there by Varma. She's been busy this afternoon.
She has. She's held up pretty well despite giving up 4 goals. Had a lot of goals scored against her that she really didn't have much of a chance on.
Possibly all 4 of them.
Absolutely. Difficult matchup there with Mullins in the middle, having her height, scoring goals off her head. And some of the Mills players have shots that are nothing to laugh about. Good shooters out there on the field for the Vikings.
Up next for Capuchino, next Tuesday is Jefferson. Then comes El Camino. Their last matchup with Sequoia will be on February the 6th. And then, of course, they will end the season playing Mills at Cap on February the 14th. So this season just only about halfway. A lot of soccer left to be played. Mills in full command, leading 4-1 here late in the second half. Just about 4 minutes unofficially left in this game. Here comes Mullins. He's already got a hat trick today. Sends it down the right sideline, just a little bit out of the reach of Jolene Hom.
It was a great idea, though, Kenny. Taking those runs down the sides has also proved to be pretty good tactic for the Vikings today. They definitely have speed and trying to push the ball up, continue to push the ball up. We're seeing Mullins up now with a little bit of a limp, so perhaps she tweaked her leg at some point.
We asked Coach Medina from Capuchino about this rivalry, and he said, quote, "It's a great rivalry. In his time as Cap coach, all of the games against Mills have been battles." He went on to say, quote, "The girls on both teams generally play at the same technical level. The players are very familiar with each other, and we were stronger in our championship year. This year, we're not quite as strong. This game could go either way." End quote. That's Rich Medina, Capuchino girls varsity head coach. And he was right on it. It could go either way. As we started out, it was for the first 20 minutes. The ball never left, rarely, the midfield area. And then all of a sudden, Mills just exploded for those 3 goals in a 6-minute span.
Capuchino's had a difficult time getting into the attacking third of the field. The Vikings have really controlled the tempo for most of the game, especially those first 40 minutes. Vikings came out firing. Capuchino got a little bit of some fire going at the beginning of the second half, but since then it appears that the Vikings have settled down a bit, and now we're sort of just playing out the remaining minutes of this game.
Coach Medina played Skyline College soccer, transferred to Cal. A lot of experience for both coaches. Clock winding down, less than a couple minutes unofficially. The official clock is held by the referee, Rick Quintana. Capuchino going to try to put one last goal on, send it up to Benintendi, who's been really quiet this afternoon. She gets bumped from behind. And she's been bumped quite a bit today. That time it was number 16, Ava Daniel. They have not lost track of Benintendi today.
Pulling that last defender way back has proven to be a pretty good tactic for the Vikings.
Nice ball. Here comes Donlin. Boy, and look where Mullins sent that from. Just a wonderful ball. Here comes Benintendi, and she's had that shot 2 or 3 times today, and all from the left side, and they've all been off to the left.
Yeah, she's got a little bit of a curve on that shot, but, you know, she's also got a really good velocity on that shot. If she can figure out how to straighten it out a little bit, we may see another goal from her. Her soccer skills are impressive. She's definitely out there in the front, running to the ball. She pulled a little nutmeg earlier on that last play.
And that's the end of the ball game, and the Mills Vikings have won. They defeat their crosstown rivals, the Capuchino Mustangs, by the final score of 4-1. Mullins with the hat trick, Haramis, Poplos, and Wheeler with an assist. Donlin with the other goal for Mills. For Capuchino, it was Coates with the goal. Mills improves their overall record to 7-4-1. In the PAL Ocean Division, they moved to 5-2. Capuchino falls to 4-3 in the Ocean, 6-4-2 overall. Andy, this was an exciting game. It's a great experience here on MCTV Sports doing some girls soccer. Looking forward to do more games like this.
Absolutely, and we'll be right back here again next week, as we mentioned, to watch the boys come out here and try to get another win. I have to say, this has been a lot of fun, Kenny. I didn't know what to expect being on this side of the camera. I don't know how much we've been on that side of the camera, but that's okay. And I have had a really good time. I'm a huge soccer fan, and I want to thank you very much for helping me out here today.
Thought you did a great job, as did the Mills Vikings, and they were pretty much dominant from the 20-minute mark on, as you said, in the middle there. And like you well noted, they kept the ball on their side for most of the game.
They did. They didn't get too rattled, even losing their star defender, Lauren Paplos. They were able to put some more goals in the net in the second half, or put another goal in the net in the second half to finish out this game. They looked impressive in terms of passing, especially their side-to-side game, going on their set pieces, putting the ball in the air, getting it up there for Mullins to score. She did a fantastic job in the middle. You can tell that she is very comfortable. She's kind of the quarterback out there, and she did a fantastic job, as did the rest of the Lady Vikings. Capuchino as well put up a good game. They're going to be a force, but it might be another year or so for them to mature, just in the same way that the Vikings have over the past couple of years.
So with the victory, Mills keeps their title hopes alive, and once again next Tuesday they'll take on first place Sequoia, who is undefeated 6-0, and they'll have a chance to avenge their earlier loss to the Cherokees. The final score of that one was 3-0. Well, that'll do it for another edition of MCTV Sports. On behalf of our entire crew, including our analyst Andy Pittman, I'm Kenny Milch saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on MCTV. Goodbye, everybody.